Welcome everybody. Today we are going to review a very interesting deck. It's my personal favorite. It's very close to my heart. It's called Phelddagrif A.K.A Murdergrif. Phelddagrif is a 4-mana 4/4 blue, white, and green general. He's a very ugly looking card. A purple hippo with green wings. Not very menacing. His abilities aren't very menacing either. 1 white, give him flying until end of turn, target opponent gains 2 life. 1 blue, return him to your hand, target opponent gains or draws 1 card. 1 green, he gains trample until end of turn, and target opponent gets a 1/1 hippo creature token. A lot of people like to consider him a group hug general, but I'm here to tell you he's not. He's group manipulation. This is the essence of Phelddagrif. He doesn't hug nothing, but he will surely manipulate your friend to hug your opponent in ways that will make your opponent cry. So, let me zoom out here. Alright. Got the old Phelddagrif. Start with our lands. I run 38 lands. It's pretty much my go-to number. I do run a lot of basics. I don't have any of the old dual lands because I don't feel like dropping about $80 to $150, whatever, have it, per land. So I do have some high-end lands, but again, this is a for fun deck, and it's Phelddagrif. I mean, it's just for fun. Even though it's Murdergrif, I do run a lot of basics. I got 6 forests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 5 islands, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Get into the non-basics. Command tower, pretty much a staple. Forbidden Orchard, it works excellently with my theme. My little theme is I give people the tools to kill everybody else. I also have a very much so means of, knocking out other players through general damage and just overall group manipulation. It's a huge manipulative deck. Forbidden Orchard allows me to even on my mana base by giving me a mana of any color and giving someone else, possibly a buddy, possible manipulation target, an extra creature. Reflecting Pool, pretty standard. Seaside Citadel, Yavimaya Coast, Breeding Pool, Temple of Mystery. I'm not a huge fan of the temples, but I found this one actually works pretty well for me. Hinterland Harbor, Adakar Wastes, Azorius Cancery, Sky Cloud Expanse, Sun Petal Grove, Dryad Abba. I do run Green Sun Zenith in here, and most of the time if I got that in my opening hand, I pretty much just tutor up for Dryad Arbor. Why not, Menamo, School at Water's Edge. Whoa, very legendary. This is a good card for this deck for multiple reasons. Phelddagrif isn't my main win condition. It's a very complicated deck to play. I mean, it really is. It took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do to get it to do what I wanted. And a lot of my other good win cons and routes to victory involve other legendary creatures with tapping abilities, activated abilities that tap it, whatever have you. So this is a shoe-in for that. Lonely Sandbar, 1 is the loneliest number. Allows me to cycle. Secluded Steep, cycling land. Maze of Ith. This is a really decrepit Maze of Ith. Picked it up for $10. Hey, I'll take it. $10 Maze of Ith. Sign me up. Allows me to manipulate the battlefield. You attack me, I'll untap it. You attack the person I don't want you to tap, just because I feel like it, I can untap it. Mystifying Maze, again, allows me to manipulate the battlefield and the way combat flows. Thespian Stage, copy other lands, Cabal Coffers, things like that, give me some extra colorless mana. Temple of the False God, pretty much a staple. Rogue's Passage allows me to make target creature unblockable for 4 mana. I can make other people's creatures You know, say I'm manipulating another person in the group, he's swinging on somebody I want him to swing on, I want the damage to go through. I can make your stuff unblockable. That's pretty boss ass shit. Plus I can make my Phelddagrif unblockable too. Now we get into the creatures. Kioria's Follower. This is a foil Kioria's Follower, and it is a very beautiful foil to boot. Again, my kind of sub-theme, I have a lot of cards that allow, or a lot of other creatures that have tap abilities for secondary win conditions, so he's a shoe-in for that. Sakura Tribuilder! Pretty awesome creature. Helps me ramp. Suture Priest. He, surprisingly, has won me a couple games. I mean, when it's late game and I put him down and I use Phelddagrif to give somebody 5 to 10 1/1 creatures, that's 5 to 10 life you're losing. Plain and simple. He pretty much allows me to pay 1 mana, make somebody lose 1 life. Shizuko, Caller of Autumn. Shizo is she's kind of on the fence. I've been considering taking her out. She's a little too group huggy. Some situations I'm playing with other decks that ramp up pretty fast, other aggressive decks, so giving them 3 mana, whether it be colorless or color they can use, can kind of be like shooting yourself in the foot, and I really don't feel like doing that. But usually when I have her out and I get that green mana, I'm usually just giving somebody tokens. Hunted Phantasm. This is actually a surprisingly awesome card in this deck. It's a 3 mana 4/6 unblockable. That's huge. 3 mana for a 4/6, that's great. Unblockable, I'm going to be hitting somebody all day long with a very, very stupid creature. And I do run I run 5 equipment, so most of the time I'm bumping him up. But his second ability is really where the magic is. Comes into play, gives an opponent 5 1/1 creatures, 5 red goblins. That's awesome. It's like 3 mana, I give somebody 5 1/1s, and I have an unblockable guy. Dulcet Sirens. This is a very fun card to play with. I've used it to great effect. Actually, I've morphed it into play just to throw people off, just for fun. So I throw it out as a morph creature, and they're like, oh my god, you got a morph creature? Whatever could it be? I like to tell them it's probably Blistering Firecat in a Bant colored deck. That's right, Blistering Firecat. It allows me to make opponents attack other opponents. In a group manipulation deck, that's pretty much the epitome of what you want all your cards to do, is to manipulate other people, and this does exactly that. Eternal Witness, returns things. Edric, Spymaster of Trist. Now, I love this guy. Whenever I'm giving people a shit ton of tokens, he helps to make sure I'm not the one getting hit with those tokens. I give Johnny 5 1/1 green hippos. Then I plop out Spymaster and say, hey, you attack Billy over there, who's looking pretty wimpy right now, didn't give him any tokens, you can draw 5 cards. Bet your ass they don't attack me. Brago, Eternal King. King Eternal. He is very fun. Again, a lot of my other creatures, my other routes to victory that I've used have tap abilities, but then again, I do have some that have enter the battlefield triggers. What deck doesn't run stuff that has, when such and such enters the battlefield, it does this thing? They all have that. That pretty much allows me to reset my planeswalkers, reset some of my mana rocks. You know, I can reset some of my enchantments that I have in there. I can reset a couple different things. Questing Phelddagrif. Baby Phelddagrif. If I had my way, this would be my general, because his 1 blue ability allows me to give him flying and make target opponent draw a card. Whenever I get him out, I'm really, really working people over with that stupid, hey, you want to draw 4 cards? There's 4 blue mana, draw 4 cards. He gets 4 times the flying. Quadruple flying. Thalicos Deceiver. This is a really fun card because A, it's got shadow and it's hard to block, and when I run, you know, some really good nasty equipment, he's gonna deal damage. And 2, he allows me to sacrifice him to gain control of target creature permanently. I use this ability only if Thalicos Deceiver is attacking and unblocked. He's gonna be unblocked. He's got shadow. Nobody fucking uses shadow. Nobody. So he's gonna hit. but one fun thing I do with it is I also run, as one of my equipment, I run Illusionist Bracers. So when I use that activated ability, I get to steal 2 creatures permanently. I also like to run freaking Gift of Immortality. Pop Gift of Immortality on Thalicos Deceiver, and I've got pretty much a reusable theft mechanic that's also going to ping for 1 or more, depending on equipment. Venser, Shaper Savant. Fun card, good to use as a last minute bounce a permanent, say like a reset a planeswalker. Hey, you got that nice nasty Garruk Apex Predator who's going around waxing my stuff. How about I just return it to your hand? How about I counter it and make you recast it next turn? I can reuse him with Brago. I can slap my Gift of Immortality on him and just use him as a chump blocker. Nobody's going to want him to die, that's for damn sure. Keeps coming back. Rafika the Many. He, by himself with Phelddagrif, can end games through general damage. I put him out, swing with Phelddagrif. Yeah, I'll let you gain 2 life and my guy gets flying. Yeah, you can have a token, but my guy gains trample. And he attacked alone, he gets double strike and +1/+1 from Exalted. That's 10 general damage right there. 1 swing. I have ended many games with general damage, Phelddagrif, and Rafik. Rubina Soulsinger. She's such a stupid card. But you know what? It actually works in this deck. It really does. And I have 1,000 Year Elixir, so even though she's got a pretty crappy mana cost, I can put her out, tap something, or tap her and steal something. Acidic Slime, another great Brago target, another great target for Deadeye Navigator I run in here. I'm not a huge combo person, but if I can get a little bit of Deadeye shenanigans, more power to me, but none of my combos are infinite. They're very, very soft. But Gift of Immortality, Brago, yada yada. Perplexing Chimera. I love this card, and I wish this card would be played more often. It's so fun. It's a huge nuclear deterrent. That's literally what it is. 5 mana, 3/3, not very great. It's an enchantment creature, not very great. You know, whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may exchange control of Perplexing Chimera and that spell. If you do, you may change or choose new targets for that spell. So basically, when he hits the play, nobody's going to be popping, huge ass spells because you know what? They know you're going to steal it. Half the time, I put him out there and I don't even steal stuff. I just like the threat of force. The threat that I could possibly steal that really good spell, maybe even a commander, which that's happened. Prophet of Krufix. Possibly my one card that I actually like from the entire Theros block. I did not care for that block. Yeah, it's my opinion. You guys may like it. I didn't think it was much anything. No, the gods were cool. Don't get me wrong. That's a cool idea. Prophet of Krufix. It's like $1 or $2 card. Oh my god. Why is this thing not $10? He untaps all your lands and all your creatures during each other player's turn. Fantastic. But wait. There's more. He gives your shit flash. Why are we not running this in every deck that has blue and has green? I hardly ever see that card. It's so scary. Rune of the Hidden Realm. This guy can really wreck people's shit. It can run as a defensive mechanism by exiling things as they attack, and that way they don't hit you. And better yet, I run Avenger Zendikar in here, Acidic Slime. There's a few things I run here that I can, more than benefit from him. He's a fantastic creature, and he actually is really good in this deck. Experimental Kraj, he's almost a little bit of filler. Although, I have put 1/1 counters with Kraj on Rubina Soulsinger and Rune at one point, and just had a hellaciously fun time. Also managed to get out Minamo. It was just a ridiculous game that I didn't win with my general. I won with just using these stupid 5 and 6 casting creatures. Sun Titan. Who doesn't like Sun Titan? It needs to be in any deck with white. Isperia, Supreme Judge. Another deterrent just like Edric. When I'm giving people 1/1 creatures aplenty, This helps to ensure that I'm not attacked. And if I am attacked, hey, you know what? I'll draw a bunch of cards. You're going to get screwed if I draw something good. Archetype of Imagination. When I pick up 1/1 tokens, because I got a lot of cards in here that allow me to gain tokens too, this makes sure that everyone else is on the same playing field, and I, as a group manipulation deck player, Murdergrif, the group manipulation murdering hippopotamus, allows me to be just above everybody else, soaring high above the clouds. Deadeye frickin' Navigator. What can't be said about this asshole? He's pretty much the culprit behind many infinite stupid ass combos that pretty much piss everybody at the table off. So usually when he hits play, he dies. I honestly rarely use him. He's for fun, just for fun. Progenitor Mimic, a excellent blue-green creature. I mean, he copies something, doesn't target, which is very important. Does not target. But he also copies himself at the beginning of upkeeps, giving you more. Prime Speaker Zagana, pretty much a draw mech. Sphinx of Uthune, draw mech. They're also good with enter the battlefield triggers. Avenger Zendikar, swag. Soul Ring, now we're getting into our mana rocks, our acceleration. I run 5 mana rocks, pretty much your standard set. Soul Ring needs to be in every EDH deck. Azorius Signet helps even out your mana. Selesnya Signet helps even out your mana. What do you guess? Simic Signet. Chromatic Lantern, who would have thought that shit? Tempt with Discovery, now that is a stupid awesome card. Even in a little tiny 4-player pod. I think one time I had one friend of mine try to be a smart ass and say, well, I'm not going to search because I don't want you to have the extra land. Well, you know what? Everybody else in that group searched and he was just looking stupid. Everyone else got a free land, any land. It's not a basic, it's not a non-basic, it's any land you want. And for each land that other players choose, I get an additional. So basically I'm going to get like 4 to 5 lands, even more. I've gotten like 6. Of any land with this card at some points. You know, bigger games, I get a shit ton of lands. It's amazing. Detention Sphere. Now we're getting into our removal stuff. I run 6 removal cards. I think about 3 board wipes, but they're very circumstantial board wipes that you guessed it, I can manipulate. Detention Sphere. It's good, and I chose this one versus Oblivion Ring. Just for the fact that if I give you a shit ton of tokens and I decide, you know what, I don't want you to have that shit no more. Poof, gone. Marshall Coop. I love this card. I totally overlooked it when it was first printed. And then after I picked it up in the new Commander decks that were recently released, I was like, oh my god. This is a board wipe that gives me tokens. It's absolutely perfect. Planar Collapse. That's fun. I've used that literally like 3 times in one game, 4 times in one game. I kept getting it back with Sun Titan, and again, I can manipulate when creatures enter the battlefield with Phelddagrif. I can give people tokens and make 4 creatures be in play, and then I can return Phelddagrif to my hand and just board wipe and play them out next turn. It's excellent. Cyclonic Rift. Good Lord baby Jesus. This is probably one of my favorite, if not, in my opinion, the best quote-unquote board wipe, period. It gets rid of everybody else's shit but yours. And if you really want to use it early game, you can use it early game. It's a win-win. Aura Shards. It's pure jank. Pure jank. Oblation. It'll tuck something, and if you really need it to, it's instant draw 2 cards. Hey, I'll tuck my stupid token I got. Draw 2 cards. Some defensive cards. I run Ghostly Prison. That's saved my ass many a times when I'm giving people 1/1 tokens. It's just not cost efficient to attack me with a 1/1 creature for 2 mana. So they usually go after somebody else. Yeah, you probably figured I'm gonna run Propaganda as well. I try to stay away from that kind of cheese because, you know, I'm a douchebag. sometimes, but at least I don't cheese it up too bad. I keep my douchebaggery in check. Venser the Sojourner. I have run 2 planeswalkers, he's one of them. He themes with my deck in 2 ways. One, he bounces things. Makes things re-enter the battlefield, getting me the enter the battlefield trigger. 2, he makes my stuff unblockable. Namely, my general, which 90% of the time I'm getting general damage kills with him. Elspeth Knight Errant. Again, she works with me in 2 ways. She gives me board presence with tokens, and she's very, very cost effective. 4 loyalty counters for 4 mana. I like it. It's a good deal. But she also can give a creature 3/3 and flying. Buff up my general and give him evasion without having to give somebody 2 life? Okay. Skull Clamp. Now we're getting into my draw spells. Skull Clamp allows me to knock out some of those tokens to draw extra cards. Simple. Green Sun Zenith allows me to tutor for creatures. Most of the time I tutor up for either A, we got Dryad Arbor, B, I almost always go to Prophet of Krufix, or C, like Eternal Witness to get back my Prophet of Krufix after you killed him. Rhystic Study. It's a excellent draw card. It needs to be in every deck with blue. I picked up a bunch of those cards just because, and I pretty much use them in every deck. Now we're getting into equipments. Assault Suit. Who doesn't like to assault another player? I sure do. And I like to help my fellow man assault other players as well. As long as they don't assault me, because you can't attack me. Gives creature 2/2, haste, and they can't attack me or a planeswalker I control, and they cannot be sacrificed. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, I may give it to him. I don't have to give it to anybody. I can give, the guy who's getting shafted this game a good creature, my unblockable one, whatever. I can give him a creature. Or I can give the guy who's, attacking the other guy I want to get out, like the threat, give him an extra creature. There you go. Help you out. Help you, help me. Illusionist Bracers. Pretty self-explanatory. He gives me extra triggers on my activated abilities. Phelddagrif, Kradge, Rubina. That sounds dirty. Rubina. Nah. Rune. So many things I get extra triggers off of. So that was kind of a no-brainer for me. Sword of Light and Shadow. I run 3 of the actual good swords. I try not to be too cliche and just sword up, but there's a few I couldn't avoid. It gives me pro color, a bump up, a little bit of life gain, which I don't run a whole lot of life gain, and a little bit of ways to recur my creatures. So that's pretty much a triple threat. Quadruple threat even. Sword of Fire and Ice. Pro color, bump up, draw a card. I can give 2 shits less about dealing 2 damage to anything. Sword of Feast and Famine. Pro color, bump up, untaps my lands. Wait, what? Untaps lands? Hell yeah, sign me up. 1,000-Year Elixir. Goes very well, very, very well with my Rubina, Kradge, and Rune of the Hidden Realm. Also kind of gives them a haste in a way because I can use their abilities as soon as they hit play. So that's a really, really cool ability. Not haste per se, but haste like coolness. Gift of Immortality. You destroy it, it comes back. Rite of Replication allows me to copy other players' actually really good cards. Now from here on out, From here on out, we're actually getting into what I classified the Jank pile. The Jank pile is basically all the stuff I didn't know what to categorize in, but it really themes with the deck and it's just pure jank. Rite of Replication kind of falls in that. Give me your good stuff because I got crappy stuff in the spectrum of creatures. My creatures are pretty weak. Seed the Land. This helps everybody, but it helps me more in a lot of ways because I can deal with numerous 1/1 creatures. Go ahead and play all the lands you want. That makes the game speed up because everybody's getting help. People don't realize how good that is. Thunderstaff. Good lord, this is probably one of my favorite cards in the deck because when I'm throwing around 1/1 tokens like a madman, whether it be with Seed the Land, Phelddagrif, what have you, Thunderstaff makes it to where if you attack me, A, they don't deal any damage because it prevents 1 of the 1 damage. And if you attack somebody I want to be out, I can buff them up a little bit. So that's excellent. It's a very 3 mana. 3 mana for that. Oh boy. Shared fate. Now let me tell you. Little story. I was in a 5-player pod with a guy who ran a 5-color God and Planeswalker deck. And he had spent thousands of dollars making this deck foiling, getting the most perfect planeswalkers for, perfect land base, everything. And I played this card on him and he literally about scooped right there. This card will shut out monocolored players very frequently. I played in another game where I used this card where one of my buddies was running a mono red deck and nobody else had red in their color scheme, and it pretty much shut him down itself. I mean, it's not an inherently powerful card, but it's easier for me to work around because I got weak cards. I mean, my cards aren't powerful cards. They're stupid, but in Tangent, they do great but stupid things. Sylvan Offering. I love these cards. This one and the white one, I run those two. I love these cards out of the new Commander stuff. I can manipulate who gets creatures and who does not. And at the same time, I'm getting creatures. So no matter what, I'm winning. But I'm also choosing who loses. Benevolent Offering. Again, I'm winning either way, but I also choose who does not win. Mystic Barrier. This will win you games. Flat out. When you're throwing 1/1 tokens out, think about it. When I play this card, I look to my left, do you get a bunch of big shit that's going to kill me? Look to my right, do you get a bunch of big shit that's going to kill me? Whoever has the least stuff, I'm looking to go the opposite direction. So that way, you're not attacking me. Now, if I see one guy's building up and ramping real hard and he's becoming a huge threat, I'm going to pick a guy I don't really care for and have him go that direction. Plain and simple, and I can decide where it goes every upkeep. I decide who lives and who dies. Crown of Doom, same fucking thing. I decide who wins, who loses, who lives, who dies. I toss it out there, give it to somebody, boom. Fight amongst yourselves for whatever victory this crown will give you. That is my Phelddagrif EDH deck. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a try. This thing is more than fun to play. It is freaking fantastic. I'm also in the process of making him 3D, so he will be extra cool. Phelddagrif, A.K.A. Murdergrif.